to this episode of what we are calling Anything But Bourbon. It's a brand new playlist on beer to whiskey, and it will contain things that aren't bourbons, obviously. Irish whiskeys, scotches. There are already a couple of videos that are up there already, and we're going to be shooting another one today that we're going to add to the mix. I'm Russ Heaps, and with me is my good buddy, Big Jon Richards. He is the craft beer whisperer here at Beer to Whiskey. And he is sitting here because, number one, he likes to drink, and number two, he's got the best palate among the Beer to Whiskey teammates. So I wanted him to sit in on this, and I'm glad he was able to. So what we're going to do today, John, is we're going to investigate.
I see there's two of them.
Yes. If they would only come out with a third one, we could have three here. Ah. But we're going to have to settle for two today. But anyway, these are the Jameson Caskmates. And what they have done is they have sort of collaborated with the Franciscan Well Brewery in Cork. And what happens is Jameson puts the whiskey in the barrel, ages it there, pours it out of that barrel, sends those barrels over to the brewery. The brewery then ages either IPA or stout. We're doing both of those today, but they put, let's say, their IPA into one of those whiskey barrels. They finish aging their IPA in that. They empty the IPA out, they send the barrels back, and Jameson puts their whiskey back in and finishes aging them in the barrels that have been aged whiskey and finished beer, and now we're back aging whiskey again. So it's really kind of a neat, It's kind of a neat little symbiotic arrangement that they have. Those Irishmen are clever when it comes to alcohol. And I think it's worth mentioning here that something that perhaps you did not know. Well, I would be amazed. But
I would not.
But we're dealing with Irish whiskey here today and not beer. He's pretty hard to trip up when we're talking about beer. But the Irish are credited with the first distilled whiskey. Oh. And what happened, even before the Scots, they beat the Scots out if the legend is factual and actual.
We just lost Scotland.
Scotland, oh well. But
Scotland will be back for you.
Yeah, but they beat them out by about 100 years and almost a century. But what happened was a group of monks left Ireland and went over and spent some time in the Mediterranean area. And you know what they came back with?
Besides cholera?
Well, besides the first suntans ever seen in Ireland, they came back with a process for making perfume.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And then they started drinking it.
And again, leave it to the Irish to come up with a way to turn their perfume making process into a whiskey distilling process, and eventually we've got Irish whiskey.
That's a fun explanation for, and not even an explanation, but kind of an attachment to why we start calling these some of these aromas perfumey. We frequently use that word.
Yes.
So it's neat.
Yep. And also because Ireland beat Scotland to the punch, they also got to kind of name what this beverage is, and which is where we get the word whiskey is from the Gaelic Ishka Baha. Ishka being the whiskey.
The important part there.
Yeah, the important part.
The translatable part.
Yeah, and it doesn't look anything like what I just said. If you see the words in print, you would be very surprised that that's what it is. But anyway, the loosely translates into the water of life. And I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I cannot disagree with that. So first of all, we're going to go with we're going to give the IPA Caskmate Edition a go here. And what it does is it takes regular Jameson, which is kind of floral, and it sort of creams it out. It sort of gives it a little more substance, gives it a little bigger, little heavier taste on the tongue, a little longer finish than normal Jameson is. But like Jameson, it's 80 proof, which means it's 40% alcohol, of course. And you can pick it up for, I don't know, anywhere between 25 and 30 bucks a bottle, a big bottle. I happen to have this, the small bottle here is the Stout Edition. Somebody gave me that for my birthday, and I would think if this person liked me more, I would have gotten an entire bottle of it, but instead I've got this hybrid between an airplane bottle and a real bottle. But anyway, so I thought we'd just give it a...
There's got to be at least 3 shots in there.
And we got 2 of them right here.
That's right.
So yeah. But anyway, I like Jameson a lot by itself. I like the sweetness. In my opinion, if bacon is the chocolate of meats, Irish whiskey is the chocolate of brown whiskeys.
Carry the one.
I know it. Just follow me. Try and keep up, because it's such a difference on the palate when you've been drinking bourbon or you've been drinking scotch, and you take a little pull of an Irish whiskey, and it just is sweeter and lighter, and it's better than water. So if you need a little break in your...
Water's bad for you.
Yeah, it's, you know what fish do in it?
No.
I know, it's... Yeah. Of course, you can always boil the water, I guess, but...
That's what they tell me.
Yeah, anyway. So why don't we give this a...
Yeah, I seem to remember having had this before, that I like the way it brightens up. The IPA brightens up the Jameson a little, gives it a little that citrus twang, a little citrus bite.
And as they say in Ireland, sláinte.
Sláinte. Don't forget you guys. But I really, really taste the vanilla in this. It's sweetened up quite a bit from regular Jameson and pulled a lot of that, the barrel vanilla into the beer.
The what are they? Esters, that's it.
But there's just a neat little, like, candied orange kind of a IPA note in there that I can pull out of that.
Yeah, it's kind of there's spice.
Still plenty of spice, still plenty of that traditional, that floral aroma.
Yeah.
No, certainly, I would sip on one of these. A lot of us, we tend to just, knock Jameson back shot by shot, which is, of course, the healthiest way to drink anything. So,
particularly if you're crunched for time.
Right, yeah, it'll work wonders for you. It's neat. So they put 3 years behind this thing. It says here too, which I don't know if we talked about as any requirement for Irish whiskey.
I don't know that there is an age requirement for it. I know that Jameson is the regular Jameson, and these are aged at least 3 years, although they don't put an age on it.
You can't read that. It's covered up by a label. It'll make it hard for you.
It's a mystery.
I don't know that they want us to read it, really. I think they just want us to drink it.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
All right, so we're going to compare the Stout Edition before we finish up on the
yes
IPA Edition. Sorry, it's the habit.
One of the important things to say about this is it does sort of dampen the floral.
It does.
Of the regular Jameson.
I'd like to have regular Jameson here with us too. It'd be neat to compare the.
I think I have some.
Is that right?
I think I do. I'll have to look. I got a lot of shit in my liquor cabinet, so I think.
See what transpires in the next 30 seconds of this completely uncut and unedited video. There, beer to whiskeyers.
It's like being there for you folks.
Are we going stout? Did you mix up here too?
No.
Okay.
This is the stout.
Oh, you should be able to. They smell completely different. Yeah, there's so much barrel and chocolate on the stout. Oh man, it's like.
This is something I could sip all day long.
Right? I haven't even tried yet. I'm excited for it.
And it's not as spicy, I don't think, as the IPA.
No, and the IPA is carrying some of that spice, some of that phenolic spice from the IPA and the aging process of the whiskey. This one isn't carrying any of that from the beer. It's all the other stuff's coming from the beer, that chocolate and the roast. There's a little bit of that burnt bread or kind of charcoal-y flavor that I would assume came from the stout.
And I thought there was a lot more vanilla in the IPA than there is in this.
All the vanilla's over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one smells like a weird, wonderful mixture between a campfire, a chocolate bar, and like just a wood cellar.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Russ, we may have found the first stout thing I like more than I like IPA thing.
It's taken me 3 years, but slowly,
That's right.
Slowly, I've drug him over.
I tell people all the time, it's at some point you're going to switch over.
Yeah.
I think I've switched over 4 or 5 times now in the course of my beveraging career.
Wow, I really, really like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think because there's less of the pepper and spice in the stout, that I like it better than the IPA. But the IPA has a lot of character. There's a lot of stuff going on there.
I think it's more subtle on the IPA side, aside from the spiciness and the and the aroma side. The flavors are a little bit wider and a little more subtle, whereas these are a little bit more clearly defined, I think. And maybe they just, meld a little more naturally with the flavor of the regular flavor of the Jameson. Yeah, you switch back to that IPA and it just goes right to butterscotch and vanilla. Lots and lots of vanilla.
Yeah. Which one of these would you be more inclined to pour in coffee?
Ooh. Probably this one.
This one being
The stout.
the stout.
I don't know that I really would stick all of the vanilla and orange and IPA spice into my coffee, unless I'd sweetened it up with something. I don't know if I'd sweetened it up with the hazelnut maybe, or one of those distilled fruit syrups.
Yeah.
The IPA might be the ticket, but I think I'd be more inclined with the wood and the smoke and the charcoal. It's already here that it's going to go well with straight coffee.
I agree. Although people throw Grand Marnier in coffee, and which is primarily citrus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big orangey thing.
Yep. I will confess I've never seen anyone throw Grand Marnier into coffee, but I'm not surprised that someone might.
I'm older than you, John. I have seen a lot more. I've seen a lot more in this world.
Indeed.
Dogs and cats
Russ-
living together.
Russ was alive when cognac was like a respected beverage. Something you drink before bed with chocolate. Which, by the way, is still a wonderful tactic that's underutilized in the world today.
Well, having said all that,
It gets awkward at the bottom of these glasses. Much as I like them for tasting.
it's like when you drink a beer out of one of those glass boots.
Yeah.
And
When it comes to get you at the end.
Yeah, and you get. I'm trying to think what the term is. There is an actual term for when you hit that point where the air goes and just
Right.
kind of throws it at bubbleage. It's bubbleage.
I was expecting a different word.
You get hit in the face with it. That's kind of what these do.
You can't spin the glass.
This is true. Well, this is just getting
Well,
downright silly at
Yeah.
this point.
Maybe we should let these people go.
I think so.
All right. Well,
Cilantro.
let's do it.
Yep.
Sláinte.
Text Miss Lily. See you next time.